Hi Dave and Kevin, and hopefully Jordan. I'm Tom Ollinger from Dayton, Ohio. We're sitting here in my metal fabrication shop, and my brother is going to ask me some questions.
Okay, Tom, what made you decide to get into restoring cars?
Well, I don't really restore cars. I'm a metal fabricator. I've never really wanted to restore cars. Cutting on a bunch of rust, I like making stuff. That's what I do, is I fabricate stuff. Cars, bicycles, motorcycles. Built a submarine once. You name it, I'll build it. And that's pretty much what I've always wanted to do.
Well, that's pretty awesome. How about some of your favorite automotive accomplishments? You got anything that sticks out?
And it
more than
seems like
others?
my favorite automotive accomplishments usually like the last big job I did. Recently we finished up that 1949 Chevy Fleet line that we chopped the top on at 4 inches. We converted it from a 4-door to a 2-door. And that was a heck of a job, and we're real proud of how it turned out.
Cool. What would you say your toughest job was that you've ever done?
The toughest job was probably converting that 4-door to a 2-door. You know, the Hot Rod magazine made it look real easy. Just 2 pages, 8 pictures, made it look like a whiz, but modifying those 2 doors and pretty much having to totally fabricate new door skins for them so they flowed right with the body lines was just about as hard as chopping the whole rest of the car.
So what makes you an automotive expert?
Well, I'm not an automotive expert. I can't rebuild a transmission, or I can't rebuild a carburetor, or tune a car up. I'm a metal fabricator, and that's what I do, is fabricate metal.
That's awesome. What makes you think you'd be a good fit for Ken Diggett Design?
Well, I've got a pretty wide range of skills. I'm a hard worker. I'm not one of these new kids that doesn't show up on time. I've been working since I was 11 years old. I'm used to putting in the hours. I work full-time now, and I work part-time at my shop or one of 2 other shops. And so I think we could definitely get something done in the way of building some pretty sweet cars.
That's pretty awesome. You said you've been working since you were 11 years old. How did all that turn into what you do now?
Well, we grew up real poor. We never had go-karts or mini bikes or any of that business that other people had, and kids had, and we were always jealous of it. And me and my brother would ride our bicycles down alleyways and see guys working on cars. We always dreamt of doing that. And when I was in my 20s, I spent some time racing bicycles at a professional level. And when I got done doing that, I decided to take a real hard shot at metalworking. And I started my own fabrication shop, building sand rails at first. Worked my way into hot rods. Then I opened a big pro shop building chassis shops back in the pro street days. And I did that for almost 3 years and almost lost my mind trying to get people that said they had $6,000 to chop up their hot rod that they didn't really have it. And so I took a break to raise my son on my own for about 10 years, and then I got back into doing the cars again.
That's pretty awesome. Tell us a little about yourself, like who you really are, your personality.
Well, I'm a highly motivated individual, fun-loving guy. If Jordan remembers going to any of the dinners with us when we were out at Ray Shalene's classes, it was an insanely funny time. And I like to have fun, but I like to get work done too. I'm not one of those guys that likes shop pranks or any of that business. I like to get the work done, but I like to have fun too. So motivated, but it's all about getting great work done as far as I'm concerned.
Cool. What would your coworkers and your friends say about you? How they would describe your interest in cars?
Well, my friends all say the same thing. How come you don't have your own motorcycle show? I've got all the same skills as those guys on TV. How come I don't have them? So what I tell them is I'm going to start my own show. My son's a metal fabricator, certified welder, certified aircraft mechanic. I'm going to hire him. We're going to start a motorcycle shop. He's going to start coming in late, dating hookers, doing drugs. I'm going to bust his ass. We're going to get in a big fight, roll around on the floor a little bit. I'm going to fire him. He'll start his own shop. Then I'll get busted for doing steroids.
We kind of see something like that already, haven't we? That's pretty cool, Tom. How would you describe yourself when it becomes about being a car expert? You know, how good are you what you do?
Well, that's just the thing. As I said earlier, I've been in fabrication. I had a chassis shop. I was building sand buggies and pro street cars. which was great to be building cars in the 90s when the pro street cars hit. It was a great time to be building cars, but I wasn't really a metal shaper then. But in 2011, I had a terrible illness, and I was in the hospital all summer, and I was on life support for a little while. When I got done with that, I just decided that I wanted to do more. I wanted to develop some real skills, a real skill set, and so I got into metal shaping. I took my first class with Ron Fournier up in Detroit. It was one of the last classes that Ron taught, and I felt real privileged to meet him and take one of his last classes, and that really motivated me to where I've worked hard to do harder and harder projects. I take classes almost every year. I've taken them from Ron's son and from his nephew and from Ray Chalene. I've mentored under Larry East Costas down in Chicago, down in Cincinnati. He was Clay Cook's metal and paint guy, and I also worked part-time for him on some weekends. And so, I mean, this is my main pursuit in life, is metal shaping and creating with metal.
That sounds pretty awesome. Sounds like you've been at it and put your heart and soul into it. Is there anything you want to say to Dave and Kevin as to why should they hire you?
Well, you guys have got a great reputation. You've got everybody tells me about your show. It's a great show. It's no nonsense. It's not one of these shows where you see a bunch of guys buying kits from Speedway Motors and well-to-main cars and acting like they're building something. You guys are the real deal, and you work on the highest end projects, and that's the kind of projects I want to work with. You look like great guys. I know when I met Jordan, he was a terrific guy, and he definitely made your shop look real good with how he was, and that's the kind of people I want to work around. So if it comes to it, I hope you give me a shot.
That's awesome, Tom. Hey, you mind giving us a small tour of your shop?
Yeah, let's look around my workshop here. Well, we'll start with this right here. It's a human-powered streamliner. It's kind of a leftover from my bike racing days, where I built a chrome ollie chassis for it, and it's strictly pedal-powered. Actually, there's no windows in it. Cameras mount right here, and you ride it looking at a video screen. And this bike is good for about 80 miles an hour just pedaling on flat ground.
80 miles an hour on flat land. Wow.
And now, right here we've got a 1973 Super Beetle. Came in for a restoration, and I don't know what happened, but it turned into a tow truck. It's got a I-beam off a 1956 Chevy bread truck on it. Square tube box frame. It's been chopped, narrowed, channeled. Got a 1,000-pound lift wrecker boom on the back. Still got a Volkswagen motor, but it's in there reverse. I flipped the diff on it, so I ain't got the motor hanging out the back. So that's just kind of a fun project I like beating on. Wishbone suspension front and back. And here's my pride and joy, my 1916 Indian motorcycle. Totally built from scratch. I've been taking it to a lot of shows, and I'm really surprised how much people love this thing. Handmade, tank, frame, seat, everything. Don't tell anybody, but it's just got a bicycle motor on there, but most everybody looks at it thinks it's original. Somebody found it on that Pickers show, but pretty proud of that thing here. And then here we've got my grinding and cutting area. And I've got a cowl and set of doors off 1931 Ford right there. Sanders, grinders, notcher, guitar, my planishing hammer, the bandsaw, big bandsaw. I bought the big bandsaw so I can cut this big box tubing. It's I've designed my own English wheel. It's going to have a variable flex to it, so as I can manhandle some heavier steel, or I can be a little bit more delicate working aluminum. So I've invented my own English wheel. I've got a set of beautiful Hoosier wheels for it. So flat metal bender here, a shrinking stump here. Here's a custom bicycle I'm building for a customer. Long fork chopper, fat tire. Ought to be pretty fun. I got 2 rollers, 2 benders, everything. It's going to be pretty fun, I think. Customer's going to be pretty happy with it, I think. Little plasma cutter right there. Here's my gas torch area. Got my Harris torch here. Got my DHC 2000 for doing thin aluminum and metal here. A little tiny lathe for doing little bushings and inserts, stuff like that. Over here we get into my sheet metal shaping area. Got this beautiful fairing I made for this old Ironhead Sportster here. I think I'm actually going to take it off and put it on a modern Sportster and build a board tracker out of that engine right there. But I dished the tank, made a new seat, transferred the oil bag to underneath the back seat, made new side covers for it, gave it a real slender look. It's pretty fun, pretty neat project. My shop bag, my hammers, my cutters, more hammers, slappers, leather-face slapper, roll shear, bandsaw. Got a ejection seat out of an F4 Phantom sitting right there. Metal worker. My heat for in the winter. Beautiful Mittler Brothers bead roller. All the dies. We got me another bead roller over there. We got my kick shrinker stretcher there, my tools. My Mittler Brothers English wheel, I was real lucky. I got a real good one on that, so that's worked out for me real well. It just doesn't have any rigidity. We got some metalworking projects I've done to improve my skills and develop for one project or another. Got the nose off an Indy car right there. Got kind of a little fitness area back in here that used to be a bigger part of the garage. It's not so big now. Industrial sewing machine right there. I've got my brake press with my swag 20-ton brake press in there. I got my bandsaw for making my bucks. Let's see here. I have my milling machine and all my tooling here. Since I'm a machinist by trade, and I've been a machinist since 1978. I work full-time as a manufacturing engineer, so when I'm not figuring out how to make stuff at home, I'm figuring out stuff at work. So I work for an aerospace military contractor, so we get some really, really interesting jobs. And then we've just got endless stuff here in the shop. Got my MIG welder here. I've got my TIG welder here. So pretty well set up. I'm pretty happy. So that's the whole shop. Thanks for taking a tour with me and giving me a chance to introduce myself to you guys. I really hope I get to meet you guys and have some fun working on some projects. So thank you very much.